Friday, May 11th. Here I am at the first real entry into this little project, and I'm already terrified. I'm not sure of what. Am I scared of the reaction these videos might get, or am I scared of some of the thoughts that might come up as part of this little experiment? Anyway, today was the last day for one of the help desk guys at work. I'm happy for him. He's moving on to work IT for one of the video game developers here in Austin, which is pretty awesome. We all knew this day was coming. The entire IT team where I work now is grossly mismanaged. Plus, our direct manager left to manage another team, so help desk is kinda left adrift. It's not so much we need someone to manage, it's more that we need someone to go to bat for us when we get unreasonable and out-of-policy requests, which is daily. To say that our IT infrastructure team is anemic is actually an overstatement to our current manpower. With one guy gone, that leaves 3 people in Austin with the help desk title. And even then, they have one guy focusing on projects and not day-to-day ticket work. So that leaves 2 people. Me and a new inexperienced guy with problems following through on finishing tasks and no attention to detail. That's 2 help desk for the largest office and worldwide corporate headquarters. The industry standard is between 50 and 80 users per tech to support. The Austin office is currently around 600 users, and we effectively have 2 techs. You do the math and tell me that's sustainable. On top of day-to-day break-fix type work, we're apparently white glove service for the executive team. No matter how small the problem, we have to drop whatever we're doing when any of the C-level people or their EAs submit a ticket. Plus, we are responsible for setting up AV equipment for the company-wide all-hands and department-specific all-hands. That includes up to 4 large speakers on speaker stands, a professional soundboard and array of microphone receivers, a remote-controlled camera on a tripod, and at least 2 laptops to run all of it. And we have to do this around 8 to 12 times per month. And of course by we, I mean me, since I am pretty much the only one who knows the best way to put it all together and get it running. Each of these meetings takes me out of commission for pretty much a full work day. Half a day beforehand, setting up and testing, then another half day the day of the meeting, because I still have to be there to run everything during the meeting and then tear all the equipment back down when they're done. Add on to that around 1,500 new cases every month, and the promise that they will not be increasing the IT headcount for 2018. They are not even planning on backfilling for the guy who left today. I even heard that IT upper management has even started asking HR to try and find out where all the former IT people are going because they think another company is sniping them away. I've never experienced a management team with their heads so far up their asses. One thing that kind of helps soften the blow is that Jess actually works there with me. Her position is more of asset management, but they're trying desperately to fold her into help desk because of their refusal to hire more people. At least that means she's right there with me and she can see all the bullshit that goes down every day. Needless to say, a job change is coming up for us very soon. I wonder if they plan on also not backfilling for my position too. It's more of a curiosity because I ran out of fucks to give it this job a long time ago. Now I'm sitting here writing this in between catching up on videos from YouTube and checking out new remixes on ocremix.org. This is pretty much my evening every day. The job leaves me so mentally exhausted, I don't have the concentration to get into a game. If I do feel like gaming, it's usually either Forza 7 or Forza Horizon 3, since I can play them on my PC while I have videos running on the other screen. Driving games like that are kind of a form of meditation to me. Or at least it's something I can still play that allows me to hear the video I'm watching and doesn't have dialogue that would be jumbled over the people talking in the videos. I don't even get the luxury of the feeling of thank God it's Friday. It's more like, at least it's Friday.
Alright, we just sort of, I don't know, we mistimed that.
Saturday, May 12th. I slept too much today. I actually woke up around 9:30 this morning. I looked at the clock and thought, yeah, just 30 more minutes, that's all I need. And then proceeded to sleep 2 more hours, much to the annoyance of Jess. I am going to work on making sure these journal entries aren't always morose or depressing. And I think not doing these at like 1 in the morning is probably the best way. I tried out TF2 for the first time in like 2 years. The changes they have made are interesting, though it doesn't really feel too different. I never got into the whole contracts thing and never really got into man versus machine too much. I just like payload maps mostly. And being able to queue into just payload games if I want is actually kind of nice. It does feel a little different now. I guess since I have only been playing on the casual game queue and not browsing community servers, it does seem people are more likely to at least take the game a little seriously and actually play the objective. It's kind of refreshing, but I'm not sure how I feel about that. At least people still goof off and do conga lines before the match begins, but once those gates open, it's all serious business. Makes me think about how dated that Jerma explains the TF2 experience video is now. Went to the bowling alley with a couple of the guys from work. It was kind of a farewell outing for the guy that just left help desk. I guess eventually it'll no longer be guys from work, since only half of us still work at the same place. It's a great group of guys, though, and we keep in touch, so even if we all leave the same workplace, we'll still get together once in a while. At the bowling alley, I take notes of the types of people near our lane. Groups of friends like us, competitive amongst themselves, but not particularly good. Families and their kids throwing all those pink super light balls down the lanes. And a couple groups of pros with their wrist straps in perfect form and who bought their own balls and everything. It was fascinating watching one girl in the lane next to us throw her ball down the lane. It had this splotchy pattern so you could watch it twist in the opposite direction it was going, like it was just gliding across the wood. Our initial lane started glitching out on us. A couple of times the sweeper bar thing was up like it was ready for the next throw, but then it came down for no reason while the ball was on its way. One time it did this, it swept up all the pins. Then the rack just dropped down a whole set of new pins while the bar was in the back. Didn't even set them down, it just dropped them in place. Then the bar swept back forward and just spat all the pins out into the alley. One of the employees came to check and to push all the pins that landed in the gutter into the back. We asked if he had ever seen that before, and he just looked perplexed and said, no. I probably had the best night of bowling in my life. I managed to win 2 out of 3 games. Even got a turkey on the last frame, which allowed me to come back from last to win that game. We had a lot of fun. Monday, May 14th. I could tell how out of shape I am because I'm still a little sore from bowling. Sore from bowling. Bowling isolates some interesting muscle groups and is totally non-symmetrical. Or maybe I just have a really awkward bowling throw, which is entirely possible. I had another day at work. I'll try not to go into any details about that to avoid this series becoming just me complaining about work all the time right off the bat. But my lunch break was something else. I tried to leave around 12, but got called back because FedEx was almost there with our shipment of monitors, and since our one shipping guy was out, someone from help desk had to take over, naturally. So, 45 minutes later, I can finally go to lunch. I'm already agitated, so I'm thinking of Firehouse Subs, which is only a couple blocks away, and so I didn't have to drive too far. Turns out that location shut down recently. So I get back in the van and head to Sonic. Sonic has these nice touchscreens nowadays, so a little red bar pops up on the monitor that says, hey, you push the red button, somebody will help you shortly. Well, after long enough, that message will just go away even if nobody gets back to you on the speaker. I did this 3 times before I finally got fed up. Finally drove even farther and got some food and good service at Jack in the Box. At least I can count on something around here. I started collecting the new IDW Sonic the Hedgehog comic. I was a bit on the fence about it for quite a while when I heard that they were ending their relationship with Archie and just canceling that whole universe. No more Freedom Fighters even. The Archie Sonic comic is the only comic book I ever got into, and that was mainly because I actually managed to get in on the ground floor. I remember being a kid and seeing this new Sonic the Hedgehog comic at the local HEB, and I begged my mom to let me get it. A single comic was like $1 back then. It was even weirdly numbered as issue 0. I learned later in life that the initial run was just 4 comics as kind of a way to test the waters and gauge reception, numbered 0 through 3. Those weren't technically canon, but I used to have all 4. Then started collecting the real run once that got started. But remembering all that got me thinking about this new comic. I was disappointed to hear that the whole Mobius universe and the lore about the Freedom Fighters and Dr. Ivo Robotnik would basically be gone, but then I realized I hadn't read the comic in years. I stopped reading before the Genesis reboot or whatever it was called that retconned all of that already. The Sonic comic lore is the only comic book lore I can talk about in depth, and it was already obsolete before IDW even took over. So I started to gain a new perspective. This is my chance to relive that moment in my childhood. I have another chance to get into another Sonic the Hedgehog comic at the ground floor, and I'm going to embrace it. I'm gonna go get some ice cream. Tuesday, May 15th. I wonder what it takes to change careers to, like, video production or something. Let me check Indeed. Ah, right. Adobe Premiere Experience. The Adobe monopoly strikes again. Well, time to edit more Let's Plays in Vegas.